Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. So imagine looking for, the universe's master encryption key for prime numbers.
Right, the holy grail of math.
Exactly. We've all heard about the century-old stakes of the Riemann hypothesis, right? And the whole hunt for that elusive critical line.
Yeah, since, what, 1859?
Right, 1859. But today, our mission is to explore a completely wild interdisciplinary crossover to crack it. We are looking at the curvature variable physics, or CVP, framework by Timothy J Dillon.
It's such a fascinating approach.
It really is. We are taking the physics of next-generation 6G telecommunications and, actually using it to solve pure math.
It's a massive pivot.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of staring at the zeros of the Ryman Zeta function as just abstract mathematical points on a graph, Dillon's framework asks us to treat them as, physical load-bearing nodes in an advanced engineering problem.
So wait, if we're treating primes as a physical network, what exactly is flowing through it? Are we talking about, data zipping through fiber optic cables?
No, not wires. The CVP framework actually borrows heavily from the Internet of Bio-Nano Things.
The Internet of Bio-Nano Things.
Yeah, think of Bio-Nano networks. These are systems where information isn't sent through electronic pulses, but through actual physical molecules bumping into each other.
Oh, wow.
Okay, exactly. So the framework treats prime numbers like those molecules. They are physical signals moving through a medium. And, because primes are notoriously irregular, their distribution creates these areas of compression.
Like a traffic jam.
Yeah, pretty much. And that generates actual physical tension in the system.
Okay, so where do the zeta zeros fit into this bio-nano traffic jam?
They act as what the framework calls refractance geometries.
Refractance geometries.
Right. In physics, refractance bends or disperses waves to relieve pressure. So here, the zeros function as oscillatory nodes that essentially release and balance out all that tension generated by the primes.
I see.
And that famous critical line. That becomes the unique equilibrium axis where the entire system just stabilizes.
Wait, hold on, you're losing me a bit here. Primes don't have mass, right?
Right.
They don't bend light or, snap under physical tension. So how do you apply a physical property like refractance to something that only exists on a chalkboard?
That is the big question.
I mean, aren't we dangerously mixing up the map with the territory here?
Yeah.
Confusing a fun metaphor with actual math.
That map versus territory problem is exactly what the framework has to solve. Because, to be mathematically valid, it can't just be a metaphor.
Right.
So it uses a strict translation mechanism called the CVP dictionary. And this violently forces every physical metaphor to be redefined as formal, admissible, analytic number theory.
Oh, so it translates the physics back into pure math.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For instance, curvature in this program isn't about gravity bending space-time. It's redefined as a precise mathematical measure of the deviation between the expected prime density and the actual prime distribution.
Got it.
It strictly prevents the literal physics from contaminating the pure math.
But wait, if the physics is just a highly regulated dictionary, how do you actually prove anything? I mean, you can't just walk into a math department and say the structural tension feels right,
Right. No, you'd get laughed out of the room. You have to build a mechanism to legally enforce the mathematical rigor.
Okay, and what is that?
The framework calls this the admissibility court. It's basically a diagnostic pipeline designed to prove what happens if a zero disobeys the rules.
Disobeys the rules, meaning stepping off the critical line.
Yes. If even a single zeta zero steps off that critical line, it initiates what they call a rigidity cascade. And this cascade hits three specific defect channels.
Which are?
Curvature, persistence, and symmetry.
Okay, let me make sure I'm visualizing this for everyone listening. Curvature is that density deviation we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
And persistence would be that mathematical error refusing to fade, just compounding over time.
Exactly.
And symmetry is breaking the perfect mirror image balance of the zeros.
You've got it completely. The offline zero corrupts those three channels simultaneously.
So it's like a Jenga tower. You have this massive, perfectly balanced structure of prime numbers.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, so the critical line is the center of gravity. If you pull just one block, like one single zero off that center line, you don't just get a crooked tower.
Right.
You mathematically force the structural collapse of the entire prime number system.
And in your Jenga tower analogy, the catastrophic fold is the exact moment the blocks hit the table.
The catastrophic fold.
Right. The math literally blows up into analytical contradictions. So by proving that an offline zero causes this catastrophic paradox, The system mathematically outlaws any zero from existing off the line in the first place.
That's wild.
It is. But the framework is intensely self-aware of its own limits, too. It actively warns against metaphor without mathematics.
Meaning it has to be proven.
Exactly. If those cascades and folds cannot be proven with classical rigorous bounds, the framework acknowledges that the entire model just falls apart.
Well, if you've ever wondered why mathematicians care so much about this stuff, this tensor-based vocabulary really shows why.
It totally changes the rules of the game.
Right. It proves that breaking a century-old deadlock often requires completely changing the language you use to describe it.
Yeah, it replaces a static search for numbers with a dynamic evaluation of structural strain. It really is a paradigm shift.
It really is. So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today as you go about your day. If the abstract distribution of prime numbers perfectly mirrors thermodynamic systems and physical wave mechanics, does that imply math isn't just a human invention, but a tangible physical property of the universe itself?